Hello, my name is Daniela, and today I will be discussing one of the most controversial topics to actually have in today's society. That being said, I will be discussing rape culture. Rape culture is the normalization of societal attitudes that condone rape or sexual harassment. And in discussing this, we will be discussing multiple factors that I feel as though attribute to rape culture. One of these topics being sexualization. Society sexualizes people so often that it's become a normal thing. It's as though you see a celebrity and you're expected for them to be sexualized because that is how our society is set up today. It shouldn't be though, because teenagers, underage kids, minors are being sexualized by society, by the media, by, paparazzi, and it shouldn't be that way because these are somebody's children. Everybody is somebody's child. Nobody should be sexualized, and it's not just in the media that children are being sexualized, or like people, or like it's not just in the media or just celebrities. It's everybody. People in the workplace have been sexualized. Children, teenagers, kids have been sexualized at school. About 81% of women admit to being sexually harassed in the workplace. A place in which people are just going to work to earn money, to support themselves. They don't want to go to work to be harassed. At school, girls are getting harassed. Boys are getting harassed. About 83% of girls have admitted to being sexually harassed at school. And a slightly lower number of 78% of boys. We tend to believe that girls are the only ones that tend to get harassed, but that's not true. It's boys, males, they get harassed too. 38% of students have admitted to being harassed by a teacher or school employee. 36% of teachers have been harassed by students, and 42% of school employees or teachers have been harassed by each other. These numbers are too high for us to be okay with it. We should never be okay with the normalization of sexualization of children. We're humans. We don't want to be sexualized. We don't want to walk down the street and we don't want to walk down the street, be sexualized. We don't want to post things on social media just to be sexualized. I personally think it's a demeaning thing to do to a person. If all you have to do is, make comments about their body, I feel as though it's demeaning to the person, And another thing that also plays into sexualization and rape culture, I believe, is dress code. School dress code is, as they say, it's to protect. I have been told that the dress code is placed to protect girls. But from what? The boys that can't keep their hands to themselves or keep it in their pants, that they harass girls for how they dress, or the perverted school administration and teachers that would look at a child like that. Who is it protecting? Because if that's not it, then what's the case? If that's not the case, then what is? Like, how do you say it's to protect us females but not tell us who from? Like, if you are trying to protect us from the perverted faculty staff, then why hire perverted faculty staff? If you're trying to protect us from the boys, why not just teach the boys not to sexualize us? Why not teach them that when we tell them no, it means no? Because we're going in a society where our no doesn't mean no anymore. We are growing up in a society where if I say no, that can mean 100 different things for them. And I feel as though, like, instead of implying a school dress code and telling us how to dress, we need to be teaching the actual lessons on what it means when someone doesn't want to have sex, what it means when I tell you don't look at me that way when I dress a certain way. Because I personally believe we should dress however we want to dress, but we can't, because I can't, because I can't go, I don't dress the way I want to dress, because I don't want to go down the street and be, catcalled or, harassed by men, older men at that. And I just feel as though it's disgusting to have to live in a society where all this is normalized. Like, there should be no way in which we should let any of this happen. And I feel like dress code plays a really big role in rape culture, because we're teaching from young that girls have to watch what they wear in order not to be harassed. And I absolutely believe that we should take steps to stop, implying that it's a girl's fault for all of this, or like stop implying the fact that we should dress a certain way to not be harassed or raped, etc. Another thing that I feel also plays into the dress code is double standards. There's double standards in the dress code. More of the dress code policies apply to girls. Girls are more likely to get dress coded than boys. And it's not even like what if situation. Like, what if girls are getting dress coded more? Like, I've seen it myself. Girls do get dress coded more. You're more likely to get dress coded if you're a bigger girl, if you have bigger thighs, or anything. If you're a bigger girl, you're more likely to get dress coded, because that's how the school works. Like, if you're a thinner girl, you're not. But it's still outrageous how girls are getting dress coded so much more than guys are. Like, if the dress code is for everybody, then why are girls the main ones that are being targeted? Like, if you can't properly imply the dress code, then don't, have it. And though I feel as though double standards also plays a big role, because people, like, it's not, just in school dress code, but it's in everything. Like, girls are held to a different accountability and standard than men are. Like, if a woman was to have multiple sex partners, they'd be called a whore or a slut. But you can have a man have sex with anybody and everybody, and it'd be like a rewarding thing for them. We shouldn't hold women to a different accountability, because it leads to the exact rape culture that I am talking about. Like, if you hold women to this ideal, then a woman who has multiple sex partners but yet is raped won't be believed that she's actually raped. But a man who's supposed to, like, a man who has multiple sex partners and is seen as a winner, what if he gets raped? People don't believe that men can be raped because men are supposed to enjoy sex. Nobody is supposed to enjoy forced sex, is what people don't understand. And I just think as though if we keep holding them to different accountabilities and different ideas and perspectives and everything, it's like the same concept but different levels of being held to it. It's gonna lead to a further drift and everything. Like, we're gonna continue to hold them to different accountabilities and different everything. And it's the kind of thing that, like, double standards leads to the idea that man can't be raped because they're supposed to enjoy sex. It leads to every woman that gets raped is a whore, as if though it's their fault. And, like, we live in a society where these are common things, and we shouldn't. And I feel like toxic masculinity also plays into all of this too, because toxic masculinity, we hold men as though they can't show emotion because it's bad, or it shows that they're weak. They can't cry because it shows that they're weak. They can't be raped because they're supposed to enjoy it. We nurture them in a form that they have to be strong, and they can't cry, and they can't show emotion that women can, because if they do, it makes them less of a man. But it doesn't. People say that if you get raped, it makes you less of a man, but it doesn't. And that's the craziest thing, because nearly 93,000 men get raped every year, but we don't hear about it. And it's sad that we don't, but it's our fault as a society. The only thing to blame is us as a society, because we are normalizing the fact that men can't be raped because they're supposed to enjoy sex. Or, like, if a man comes forward about being raped, they're like they're less of a man, basically. We're saying that they're less of a man if they get raped, which should never be the case, because being raped doesn't make you less of a man. Crying doesn't make you less of a man. These things don't make you weak. And I honestly feel like as a society, we should start nurturing men. We should start nurturing our children, our boys, our men, in a society where we accept this. We need to stop normalizing the fact that this is all a bad thing when they're just feeling the emotion that they have. They're just, they're just living. I feel like we need to stop normalizing that it's all a bad thing and start actually taking control and saying that it's okay. It's okay for a man to cry. It's not okay for a man to get raped, but that doesn't make him less of a man. None of this should make anybody less of a man. And I feel as though all of this needs to actually stop, and we need to start holding people accountable. We need to start holding men accountable for what they do. We need to start holding women accountable for what they do, because it's like, if we keep letting these people go, we're not going to ever get anywhere. About 98% of rapists walk free. 98% of men that rape never serve their time. Why is that? Like, why are we letting them do this? Like, we are just letting them get away. And then we ask why men rape. Men rape because men think it's okay. But in a way, it is the fault of the judicial system that fails us, because they let these men get away. There was a story in which a bus driver admitted to raping a 14-year-old girl. He admitted to doing it, but the judge let him free because he only raped once. They let these men free and expect them not to do it again, and when they do it again, they'll let them free. And it's just a cycle that keeps repeating and repeating, and we need to stop. We need to put an end to that, because we need to hold these people accountable and let them know that they need to stop doing things like this, because it's not okay. Rape culture is the normalization of all of this, and it's absolutely disgusting. Like, we shouldn't be okay with letting rapists walk free, or we're letting little kids be sexualized, or letting men think it's bad to cry. We need to step up as a community and fix these situations. And it's not, just men that need to be held accountable. It's women too, because women can rape too. Women, and it's not, just rape, but women also file false accusations of rape. And those accusations can ruin a man's life. And I feel as though if you're falsifying a rape accusation, you are taking away the accountability of an actual rape victim. If you're a woman who is falsifying rape, who's making false rape claims, you are taking the power away from a woman to actually file a real rape. You are taking away their accountability. And that makes it harder for actual rape victims to get justice. And if we can't hold any of these people accountable, we as a society can never move forward or progress into a better society, in which the normalization of rape or rape culture is a thing that we don't have, or that we don't normalize, or things like that. And I feel as though we need to make steps into moving forward and stopping things like this. And for all the previously made statements, I believe that they are just few of the very many factors that attribute to rape culture. Thank you for your time.